before this fight, I denied a multi-million-dollar contract from MVP Promotions to fight Jake Paul, and I'm fighting a real fighter tonight. So I'm not a part of that circus league of boxing. This is the real league of boxing. This is what I'm gonna do.
Jake Paul just got annihilated by Muhammad Ali's family, and Jake, being Jake, didn't take this well. Oh, he's lashing out. The grandson of sporting icon Muhammad Ali, Nico Ali Walsh, has made the YouTuber turned boxer have a taste of his own medicine with his recent verbal smackdown at the athlete that has everyone talking. How does it feel being called a clown, Jake? If you're a fan of the game or just love a good celeb showdown, you're going to stick around for this one because this boxing tea is so spicy that you might need a gallon of milk. Get this past weekend, Nico Ali Walsh extended his record to 10 wins and 1 defeat with a unanimous points victory against Sona Akleh in Saudi Arabia. This was a win we all saw coming, no? Well, it wasn't the victory that made all the buzz in the fight world, but the bombshell that Nico dropped after the epic fight. The athlete revealed that he was just offered a multi-million-dollar fight with Jake Paul, but turned down because he's got no respect for influencer boxing. Take it from the man himself who said, "Before this fight, I denied a multi-million-dollar contract from MVP Promotions to fight Jake Paul, and I'm fighting a real fighter tonight. I'm not a part of that circus league of boxing. This is the real league of boxing, and this is what I'm gonna do." This came after Nico was accused of being in the sport only for the cash and the fame. Come on, this guy pretty much grew up in the ring. You can't just count him out like that. Well, Nico isn't one to sit around and let people fire shots at him. This man slapped back, and boy did he prove himself in the ring. That's like a true champion. I don't know about you, but reminds me of Muhammad Ali from back in the day.
One thing that's for sure I gotta clear, Teofimo Lopez said in an interview a few weeks ago before this fight, he said he disrespected my family, saying that I'm only in boxing because I'm desperate for money and fame. And I thought that was real wrong for someone that I used to look up to say. But you know, it is what it is. I just want to let everyone know that I chose the path of boxing. I chose the path of legacy. If I wanted to, I could be a millionaire right now.
Here's a life hack. Never go after Muhammad Ali's family because it's pretty much the same thing as digging a grave for yourself. Hey Jake, did you hear the part where Nico called you a fake boxer? I won't be surprised if the YouTuber turned boxer is used to it at this point because almost half the fight world has been labeling him a clown, a fraud, and a con man. We'll get more into all of that later in the video. Now, Jake Paul's brash personality precedes the man. Come on, he's more known for calling out the biggest boxers in the name than actually stepping into the ring and putting up good fights. And that, folks, speaks volumes. Remember all that trash talk Jake Paul was throwing around about boxing legends? Karma seems to be a social media influencer these days. Of course, Paul didn't waste any time in responding to the fire the Ali family lit under himself. Yeah, the former Disney star wasted no time and took to social media with an explosive reaction. Or at least he thought he did something there. The problem child deliberately tagged Nico in his posts where he wrote, "LOL exactly." His whole point here works against him. I've been trying to fight this fraud and now he admitted he ducked me but calling me a circus act. Gifted a decision tonight because of his last name. Shake my head. Here's the thing, Paul. Nico didn't duck you or avoid you, he just simply decided to put up gloves against a seasoned professional, but of course, you wouldn't know what that means. Come on. Paul is famous for his streak of victories, or you can call them orchestrated charades all planned by his team to make sure the athlete stays on top of the fight world. As if he is on top. Don't get me wrong, I know that Paul's the name on everyone's tongue right now. Love him or hate him, you can't deny that this man knows how to stay in the spotlight. But here's the thing. Being an internet sensation or a big PPV star doesn't equate to being a pro in the ring. Let's play a game where I name some of Jake's most famous opponents and you count the pros in their prime. Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, Tommy Fury? I bet Tommy's the only name you have, and let's not forget Paul lost that one in a humiliating fashion. It's embarrassing when you claim to be the best, and then are handed your first loss the moment you step in with a seasoned boxer. Jake Paul built his fame on YouTube and parlayed that into a boxing career. But is it a real boxing career, or just a series of hyped-up events against carefully chosen opponents? The Ali family's public criticism throws a massive wrench into Jake's attempt to legitimize himself as a boxer. Previously, Jake had taken shots at the name of the sport, Muhammad Ali, and that didn't well for the athlete. It's disrespectful for Jake Paul to call out legends when he hasn't proven himself in the ring. My father trained his whole life for the sport. He wasn't built on YouTube views and celebrity boxing matches. It's a slap in the face to true fighters. I'd expect a harsh call-out too if I ever stepped on a boxing legend's toes. Imagine the headlines. Layla Ali smokes Jake Paul in a tweet. The internet collectively roared with this one. It's a clear message from someone who understands the dedication and sacrifice it takes to be a real boxer. Looks like Jake's got a knack for throwing verbal jabs at boxing legends because he didn't spare Mike Tyson either. Only this one ended up getting the boxer the biggest fight of his career. I'm sure you've heard of the upcoming Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul bout. Jake has been shouting about it from the rooftops and the aisles of Walmart, to be more realistic. It doesn't end here because not only is Paul stepping into the ring with Iron Mike, but he also believes that he'll be able to knock the man out cold in the ring. Okay, now that sounds a bit too far-fetched to me. Well, I'm not making stuff up because these are Paul's own words. Take it from the man himself.
I would win. Serious as a heart attack. I think he thinks that he would knock me out, and I think that is maybe the reason why he doesn't want to do the fight, because I think he wants to avoid maybe knocking me out.
He doesn't realize how good you are.
Exactly.
If he knew, maybe he would.
Maybe the fight would happen.
You think you can knock him out?
Can I ask you a question?
I think there's a very,
Whoa,
very high chance of that. He's not the same fighter that he once was, and he knows that.
Don't get me wrong, I know we're all hyped up about it now, as the athletes are set to step into the ring on November 15th at the AT&T Arena in Arlington, Texas. This is Paul's chance to cement his status in the fight world because he'll be tested against a professional. And not just any pro, we're talking about the legend Mike Tyson here. Let's not forget that Mike is the guy who became the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. This guy is a total beast who has chewed off ears in the ring before, and if I were Jake Paul, I'd be trembling in my boots right about now. But let's not forget that the YouTuber-turned-boxer is up for another hurdle before he steps into the ring with Mike Tyson for the toughest fight of his career. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you know that Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul was originally scheduled for July 20th but had to be postponed due to Mike's health emergency. Yeah, when you've got a man pushing 60s in a matchup, these health hiccups almost become inevitable. But nevertheless, you know what they say. The show must go on, and it sure will, cause Jake has replaced Mike for the July fight night. And don't be sad just yet because the new opponent isn't a slouch. He's also a tough man that can send Paul crashing onto the canvas, and I'm talking about our guy Mike Perry. If you aren't up to speed, let me fill you in with everything you need to know about the athlete. As for Mike Perry, this dude is a tough man, and Jake is definitely in for some challenge. Platinum Perry is a former UFC star with a record of 14-8-0, but bare knuckle is where he truly shines and dominates the game. Platinum is undefeated in bare knuckle with a record of 5-0, and it's safe to say that he's easily the league's biggest star. Now, if you're wondering about his boxing record, he's only ever stepped into the ring once against Kenneth McNeil and failed to come out on top. But that doesn't change anything, because if there's anyone who can pull off an upset, he's got the motive. Perry has been asking for a chance to fight Jake Paul ever since he sparred with him before the YouTuber-turned-boxer's boxing debut. The athlete isn't like any of the old men Paul has fought before. He's in his prime and not old and crusty. Paul doesn't know this, but he's definitely in for the fight of his life. Perry wants to ruin all chances of Paul stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson. Mark your calendars because July 20th is going to be lit. Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. A YouTuber with boxing dreams taking on a UFC and bare-knuckle champion. This fight has all the ingredients for a crazy night. We'll see if Jake Paul can step up his game and Perry might just surprise everyone. And as for Jake, if he doesn't want a black eye before his fight with Perry, I wouldn't go after the Ali family. So there you go, Fight World, that's all I have for you today. What do you think about Jake being destroyed by Muhammad Ali's family? Fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.